Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's not violent. Sometimes it's just one perfectly timed phone call that makes a grown man wish the ground would swallow him whole. This is the story of how my truck was wrongly impounded during a snowstorm. How I was treated like a criminal for doing the right thing. And how a single forgotten hat turned into the most satisfying revenge I've ever had. This happened many years ago, back when I worked the 3 to 11 shift at a hospital. I was a single mom, exhausted, juggling work, kids, and life with only one vehicle to my name. That night, a serious snow and ice storm was moving in fast. Near the end of my shift, I was in the ER and casually asked a couple of law enforcement officers how bad the roads were getting. They told me, "Yeah, it's bad. Take the highway. It's the only road being plowed and treated." That advice would come back to haunt me. About 30 minutes later, I carefully eased onto the highway ramp. I was driving slow, cautious, doing everything right. Then, ice. My truck slid like it was on glass. I slammed straight into the guardrail. Hard. When everything stopped, my truck was facing north in the southbound emergency lane, jammed up against the rail. I tried to restart it. Nothing. Dead. I sat there thinking, okay, an officer will come by soon. They always do. 2 cruisers passed. No one stopped. Now it's 20 degrees outside. The truck won't start, and I can feel the cold creeping in. I knew if I stayed, I'd freeze. So I made a decision that would later be called a crim. I got out of my truck and climbed down a 3-story embankment to the city street below. Snow, ice, darkness. As luck would have it, one of the hospital security guards spotted me walking back and gave me a ride inside. Once safe, I did the responsible thing. I called the non-emergency number, this was before cell phones, and reported the accident. The dispatcher told me I should have stayed with my vehicle. I explained, very clearly. It won't start, and it's freezing. I would have frozen. She paused, then said, "Okay, we'll call you when we dispatch an officer." That call never came. A friend gave me a ride home. The next day, I asked another friend, who worked for a wrecker service, to go pick up my truck. He called me back. "It's gone. Gone." I called non-emergency again. That's when the hammer dropped. A trooper had towed my truck as a hit and run, and there was now a warrant for leaving the scene of an accident. I was stunned. I asked the dispatcher if she could see my call reporting it. She said yes, but there had been 220 accidents that night, and mine got lost in the shuffle. Lost. Like my livelihood. I asked how to get my truck released. She told me I needed to contact the trooper who impounded it and complete an accident report. Great. Progress. She gave me his name and number. I called. He was off duty. I left messages. Days passed. I called again. And again. By day 3, desperate, I asked for his supervisor. That's when I was told the trooper was on vacation, and only he could take the report. Even the supervisor couldn't. I knew that was nonsense, but I had no power. No truck. No backup vehicle. No sympathy. Thankfully, my uncle loaned me a car, but the anger was simmering. A week later, I finally got a call. Master Trooper Jerk. He said he could come to my house to take the report. I agreed immediately. It was my day off before 4 long shifts, and I'd spent the morning cleaning. My house was spotless. He arrived about 20 minutes later. When he stepped inside, I could tell he was surprised. No chaos. No mess. No stereotypes fulfilled. We sat at the kitchen table to do the report. What I didn't notice at the time. He set his hat on the chair next to. As he filled out the paperwork, he asked why I didn't stay with my truck. I explained again. It was freezing. It wouldn't start. I would have frozen. Then he said something that made my blood boil. He admitted he could now see my original call reporting the accident. Then casually added, "Oh, my supervisor could have done this. But it's all taken care of now." I knew it. He had let me suffer, for nothing. He packed up and left. And that's when I saw it. His hat, sitting right there on the chair. A uniform piece. Official. Recognizable. And suddenly, inspiration struck. I picked up the phone. Called non-emergency. And in my softest, most breathy Marilyn Monroe-style whisper, I said, "Hi, Master Trooper Jerk was just here at my house. We were, taking a report. And well, he seems to have left part of his uniform behind." Silence. Then, "Ma'am, stay where you are." Oh, sweet justice. About 20 minutes later, there was a knock. When he walked in, his face turned 10 shades of red. He grabbed his hat, didn't make eye contact, didn't say a word, and left. I only wish I could have heard that radio call. I never broke a law. I never yelled. I never threatened. I just let karma borrow a phone. Sometimes revenge doesn't need force. Just timing. If this story made you smile, hit that like button. Drop a comment and tell us, what's the most satisfying, petty revenge you've ever witnessed? And don't forget to subscribe for more real-life stories where karma shows up right on time. Because sometimes, justice wears a uniform.